All right, welcome back to the Elias Macko Show, third hour of the program. We're about 10 minutes away from speaking to Anthony Housefather, by the way, the Liberal MP representing Mount Royal. Going to get his take on Mark Carney winning the Liberal leadership. It should be noted he was backing Chrystia Freeland. Can't wait to hear what Anthony Housefather has to say about Mark Carney's big win. But we begin this third hour of the program by taking a look at various trade wars. We are in the midst of a trade war with the United States, right? Everyone knows about that. I should also point that out, somewhat under the radar, maybe it shouldn't be. We're also in the midst of a trade war with China. China imposing retaliatory tariffs against Canada, 100% tariff on certain oils and other agricultural products. Also pork getting a 25% tariff. So there's a lot of trade wars going on between Canada and various superpowers. So if you've got money, I don't know if it's invested in the stock market, but if you've got your money and saying, hey, how do I protect my investments in the midst of a trade war? Well, let's get you some answers. We go to Simon Houle, who's treasurer of ÉducÉpargne. He's on the line. Simon, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let me ask you personally here, how much are you freaking out over the various trade wars that are going on right now?
Well, I don't like it, obviously, because there's a lot of uncertainties out there. But I've been through some other uncertainties in the past, and if you're prepared, I think you can. We can go through this we can sail through this smoothly.
Okay, so let's try and do that.
I think what's key is just not to panic. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, that's good. Hearing those words, it's important not to panic here. So what do you do here if you want to just keep your finances in check? I mean, some people are worried about a recession as well. What should people be considering right now?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at a recession coming soon, it's not. We're not automatically going to have a recession, but Donald Trump is not ruling it out. So we need to be ready. So first of all, I think I just have a few tips for the listeners. First of all, I think people should just keep in mind that we tend to buy things that we don't need. So maybe just stop doing that and maybe cut expenses, things like Uber Eats and online shopping and things like that. Like on the smartphone, we tend also to have many subscriptions that auto-renew. And if you don't take care of that, you can be at more than $100 a month just in subscriptions, if not more. But if you want to talk specifically about the market, what I recommend is that make sure that all your investments are tied to a specific goal. And if the goal is long-term, it's okay to go through a little crisis like this and make sure that the stocks that you like, if you like your stock a few months ago, you should still like them today. They might be a bit lower, but if you don't need the money for another 5 or 10 years, you're going to be okay. If the money is tied to a short-term goal, like buying a house in a year or two, you should definitely not be in the stock market. You should be in a GIC or maybe a high-interest savings account or something like that.
And when should you be considering making those switches? When should you consider whether it's a specific stock or an ETF or other type of investment? When in your mind do you say, okay, it is time to make some serious decisions and switch some of your investments?
Well, right from the beginning, when you start investing for a specific goal, you should always have that goal in mind. But today, if you've invested all your money in the market, but you didn't have a specific goal in mind, now is a very, very good time to have that conversation with yourself or your financial planner.
And let's just talk about emergency funds here. Just how much should be in our emergency fund? Where do you park that emergency fund? Tell me a little bit more about emergency funds and how to handle that properly.
An emergency fund should be, what we recommend is to have between 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses. And you don't need to go after the highest return possible. What you want to do is be secure. So what's best for you is probably going to be a high interest savings account. But if you're not able to put aside enough to reach the 3 months of expenses or 6 months of expenses, having a line of credit is also a good way to be ready in case of a recession or something else, or if you lose your job.
And how would you use that?
Well, you just take money from your line of credit for emergencies, and you want to pay it back as soon as possible, obviously. But ideally, you want the high interest savings account.
What are some of the what we're going through right now? Does it remind you of other is this a case of history repeating? Like, do you view this and say, we went through this 5 years ago, we're just forgetting? How do you view what we're going through right now?
Well, this type of thing happens once in a while, and it reminds me a bit of the Great Recession we had, like in 2008. The markets went down quite a bit before the recession came, but if you were properly invested, and if you were invested long term, and you didn't need the money right now, you saw the markets recover. Everything came back.
And Simon, do you have a thought or two for those who are, the younger Canadians out there, those who, don't have a home yet, or you're trying to save money for a home? Any way that the younger Canadians should be maybe viewing this a little bit differently than others?
Well, I think what's important is to have proper, not spending, but what's the opposite of spending?
Savings?
Saving, yeah. Having proper saving habits, just put money aside, just to make sure that you always have something on the side with whatever happens. If you don't have a home yet and you're looking to buy a home eventually, you're going to need to have a good conversation with your broker, to see what kind of rate is good for you. Like if you're better with a floating rate or a fixed rate. Because what we're going through right now is going to have an impact on interest rates. Like, for sure, the interest rates are either going to go up or down. Because the thing is that what's happening right now, it would be inflationary. So this is going to cause inflation if this goes through. The thing is that we don't know if it's going to go through because Trump tends to change his mind once in a while.
That's right. We're always refreshing his Truth Social page.
Exactly.
Simon,
but if there is a recession, the rates would go down, and I think the recession would outweigh the inflation in the beginning. So maybe look at that if you're looking to buy a house.
All right, Simon. Listen, thanks for hopping on the show this morning. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the talk.
That's Simon Houle, treasurer of ÉducÉpargne.